Once there was a very clever minister who served in the court of a mighty king. This minister wasn't just a man of intellect, but he had a unique ability to solve every problem that came his way. The king, who ruled over a vast and prosperous kingdom, valued the minister greatly. He never made any significant decision without consulting him, relying on his sharp mind and wisdom. Because of the minister's importance in the court, it didn't take long for jealousy to fester among other advisors and courtiers. They all wanted to be in the king's favor, and they all wanted the same recognition the minister received. But despite their envy, the minister remained calm and focused, for he knew that wisdom was not about power, but about service. One day, the king summoned the minister into his chambers with a stern look on his face. "You are very smart, and I value your advice, but your son," the king paused, glancing out of the window as if searching for the right words. "Your son is quite foolish." The minister, who had always been proud of his son's intelligence, was taken aback. "Your Majesty, why do you say such a thing about my son? What makes you think he is foolish?" The king responded with a slight chuckle. "Every morning, as I pass through the market to greet my people, I ask your son a simple question: which is more valuable, gold or silver? And every time, without fail, he answers silver. I cannot understand why he would give such a foolish answer." At this point, the courtiers around them began to chuckle as well. The king's words echoed in the halls of the palace, and it was clear that they all were enjoying the minister's discomfort. The minister, though upset, said nothing at that moment, only nodding respectfully. He left the palace and made his way home, his thoughts heavy with concern for his son. When he arrived home, the minister found his son in the garden, sitting quietly by the fountain. The father approached him and asked, "My son, I need to ask you something important. The king says you are foolish, and I must know why. Every day, he asks you which is more valuable, gold or silver, and every day you say silver. Why?" The young boy looked up at his father with a calm expression and replied, "Father, I know gold is more valuable, but I also know the king. Every morning, he places 2 coins in front of me, 1 gold, 1 silver, and asks me to choose the more valuable one. Every time, I choose the silver coin." The minister was confused. "But why? If you know gold is worth more, why do you keep choosing the silver coin?" The son smiled softly and said, "Father, if I choose the gold coin, the king will stop asking me the question, and I will no longer receive my daily silver coin. But when I choose the silver coin and say that it is more valuable than gold, the king laughs and gives me the silver coin. He enjoys the joke, and I get to keep my coin." The minister's eyes widened in realization. "So you've been giving the wrong answer on purpose to receive the silver coin every day?" The son nodded. "Yes, father. The king enjoys the game, and I don't want to lose the silver coin just for the chance of getting the gold one. It's a small price to pay for the consistency of daily silver." The minister paused for a moment. He thought deeply about what his son had said. He had always assumed his son was making a mistake, but now it was clear that his son's actions were not out of ignorance, but out of wisdom. The minister had not seen the bigger picture before. He looked at his son, pride shining in his eyes. "You may not be showing the world what they want to see, but you are showing wisdom in a way only the truly wise can understand. You knew what was valuable, but you also understood the value of patience and consistency." The next day, the minister returned to the king's court, and the king eagerly asked him, "Well, what do you think of your son now, minister? Is he still so wise in your eyes?" The minister smiled and said, "Your Majesty, sometimes wisdom does not lie in doing what is expected, but in seeing things from a different perspective. My son's choice to take the silver coin every day was not out of foolishness, but out of foresight. He understood the situation better than anyone else. The king, though surprised by this answer, nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps I have judged your son too harshly," he said. "It seems I still have much to learn." The court, which had been laughing at the minister and his son, suddenly fell silent. They too began to see the wisdom in what the minister had said, and though they might not have understood at first, they started to appreciate that not every decision needed to be grand or dramatic. Sometimes, the wisest decision is the simplest one. Now, whenever anyone in the kingdom would call the minister's son foolish, the minister would smile and say nothing. He understood that wisdom comes in many forms, and often, the quietest minds hold the deepest truths. Friends, we often see the world through a narrow lens. Many times, we measure success, intelligence, and wisdom by outward appearances. But as the story shows us, true wisdom often lies in choosing the right actions for the right reasons, even when the world may not understand. You might find yourself in situations where others call you foolish, where they question your choices or your path. But if you know in your heart that what you are doing is right, it doesn't matter what others say. They don't have to understand your journey, because it's yours and yours alone. So, take a moment and reflect on your own life. Are there decisions you've made that others have mocked or questioned? Are there paths you've chosen that don't fit the standard expectations? If you know they are right for you, then keep moving forward with confidence, just like the minister's son did. Remember, the world often calls those it doesn't understand crazy or foolish, but those who stay true to themselves and their wisdom are the ones who shape the future. So, don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. And above all, trust your instincts and your heart. Now, as you go about your day, remember this story. The next time someone questions your choices or laughs at your decisions, think of the wise minister and his son. Remember, wisdom isn't always about being flashy or showing off, it's about knowing what matters, even when others don't see it. So, my friends, stay patient, stay grateful, and keep moving forward in life. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your own version of success. And one day, others will see your wisdom too. If this story has inspired you or made you reflect on your own life, please share it with others. Like and share this video and join me next time for another story. Until then, stay wise, stay humble, and stay true to yourself.